News Corp's Rupert Murdoch is struggling to control the destiny of the company he began building 6 decades ago after a trusted deputy was arrested. For more on Murdoch and who's left at News Corp, we are joined now by Michael Wolff, author of the 2008 Rupert Murdoch biography, The Man Who Owns the News Inside the Secret World of Rupert Murdoch. He's also the editorial director for Adweek magazine and founder of the news website newser.com. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You've written a book about Rupert Murdoch. Is he reacting as you would expect as this scandal continues to unfold?
Curiously, yes. The portrait that I drew of Murdoch, and based on a close contact with the man over 60 hours of interviews, is a portrait of a man who really responds, has no plan. He's all what happens in the moment. He's a man who reacts. He's a man who meets power with power. He's a man who doesn't apologize very easily.
And that was written, you were quoted in our story on Rupert Murdoch, our cover story in Bloomberg Businessweek last week, that you said this is not a man who apologizes. It's part of the News Corp culture. If you're attacked from the outside, you defend. It's always us versus them. We're right, you're wrong. Well, they have apologized. They took out big ads over the weekend over in the UK saying, you know, we are sorry, and they want to put right what's wrong. Are you surprised that he's come out now and apologized?
Well, I'm not surprised by that. Well, yeah, yes. I mean, he didn't want to do this. And I think that's what's clear from the type of ads these are to how late they came.
But he had to do it.
Came in the cycle. Yeah, I mean, he hired a PR firm. The PR firm made him do it. The ads are obviously written by a PR firm. And the issue that he has right now is, does anyone believe this? And in fact, these ads are completely unbelievable. Yeah, I'm sure he's sorry. I'm sure he wants this to go away. But you know, this has been going on for 6 years, not a peep out of the man. And even more to the point, what we understand is that what happened, what he's apologizing for effectively, is what the company is, what the company does, what his fortune has been built on. This is not an aberration. This is what his newspapers have always done.
This is a man who, as we said, spent 6 decades building this great media empire. Not a man who's going to easily go away, but some have suggested maybe he needs to step down from that CEO role. Stay as chairman potentially, but step down as CEO. Do you think that's likely? You spent time talking with him.
Yes. I mean, I think. He's not. It's likely. He's not going to go willingly. He's going to go because there is no other alternative. I mean, effectively, what you have is a tainted brand. The name Murdoch now stands for. It's always been a little equivocal, but it now stands for something very clear. You hack people's phones. You don't apologize. You don't get out there. You don't care. And more importantly, you have no credibility. And I think that's ultimately what's at issue here. Is his son, who was his heir, has made statement after statement which have proved to be false. And Rupert Murdoch is a man who doesn't seem in control of the situation. So these are not the people you want running a major company.
This is a company, though, that is very much a family affair. What happens to James Murdoch at this point?
I think he's finished, cooked over toast. He just has no credibility. You just don't go through this whole period saying one thing, have the exact opposite proved to be true,
Michael,
and come out the other end.
You're tougher on him than you are on Rupert. Rupert is the admiral of this ship, very involved in all aspects of the empire. You sound like you're tougher though on James. How come?
I like Rupert. I don't like James.
No, but seriously.
Seriously. I think you have to get tough on Rupert, and I think Rupert is as involved in this as James. But James ran this show. He was in charge of the management of the scandal. He was in charge of the people who committed these crimes. So he is the directly responsible executive.
What happens to other members of the Murdoch family? Does Elizabeth take on a bigger role potentially?
I don't think so. I mean, I think really that this company has a fine future. This is not an Enron situation. There's nothing wrong with the company per se. What's wrong with the company are two things: a newspaper division, which most people in the company would be glad to get rid of anyway.
And it's a small division, correct?
It has become a small division. Was the motor of the company, now a small division. That's number one. Number two, the Murdoch family, because they are the ones most closely associated with the newspapers. It is it is the culture that they've created. That Rupert Murdoch, let's go to Rupert, it is the culture that Rupert has created that has caused these problems.
How quickly, we have to wait, of course, until see how everything plays out, because there's questioning tomorrow by Parliament and so on and so forth, a special commission, special hearing.
Quickly.
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 You do.
I mean, I think that it has happened so quickly. Each of these stories, and now, tomorrow it will be 2 weeks since this tsunami started. Any one of the stories that has broken would certainly have dominated British media news for weeks and weeks. And there are multiple stories. There are multiple. There are probably 15 individual major stories that have broken over the past 2 weeks.
Let's get back to Michael Wolff, author of the 2008 Rupert Murdoch biography, the man who owns the news inside the secret world of Rupert Murdoch. Michael, let me ask you, those independent directors that Dom just talked about, you spent a lot of time with Rupert writing your book. Do you think he cares about what those independent directors have to say?
Well, if they said anything, I'm sure that he would have to care. They are the independent directors on the board of a major public company. Up until this point, they have been one of the most docile boards in among companies that side. Probably the most docile board. Kind of a joke board. From a governance perspective, this is a throwback company. There's none of the the change in corporate culture that we've seen a lot of companies go through since Enron, since all of the major corporate upheaval of the last decade. News Corp remains very much a company controlled by one man, one family. It's a public company, a set of directors which are chosen explicitly because they're Murdoch cronies.
And you don't expect that to change?
I don't expect I do expect it to change. I expect the whole company to change. And even at this point in time, this company has to regain its credibility. Governance is going to be a major issue. And I do expect that even these docile, Tweedledee, Tweedledum directors will be forced to face up to their fiduciary responsibility and begin asking some hard questions.
Michael, we talked about, Dom talking about the heads that have rolled at this point. We know about Les Hinton, we know about Rebecca Brooks. What about Wall Street Journal editor Robert Thompson? My understanding, he's been very close to Rupert Murdoch. Is he going to be drawn into this scandal in your view?
I don't see how he can't. I mean, number one, he's already drawn into the fact that the Wall Street Journal, the preeminent business publication in America, has virtually reported very little, if anything at all, of consequence about the biggest business story of the moment. So that's number one. But number two is Robert Thompson is extremely close to Murdoch. I would say he is his closest, actually, advisor after his son James. There's no way that that Robert Thompson has not been closely involved in Rupert's thinking on this entire matter. Also, Robert Thompson comes from the Times of London, deeply involved in News International, the British subsidiaries, issues and culture.
So more fallout to come potentially, but you think Rupert's not going anywhere? Just quickly.
No, I think Rupert is going somewhere. I think Rupert is going out of the door.
Completely?
Yeah, I mean, I think Rupert will be pushed upstairs, pushed, there will be a new CEO of this company. Yes, absolutely.
Going to leave it on that note. Michael, thank you so much. Michael Wolff, author of the Rupert Murdoch biography, the man who owns the news inside the secret world of Rupert Murdoch. Michael, thank you.